Hello, this is Kirill from forexboat.com and welcome back to the course on testing and optimization in MetaTrader 4. Now that we have MetaTrader 4 successfully installed and we have a demo account up and running, today we can focus on the strategy tester window and the navigation controls that operate it. So here in front of you, you can see the MetaTrader 4 platform, and at the bottom here we have the terminal window, and this is what your platform will look like if you've opened it for the first time. And you can see your demo account name and number over here on the left. If we click around in the terminal tab, in the terminal tabs, you will notice that there isn't a tab for the strategy tester, and that is because the strategy tester has its own separate window, which we can open by pressing this button up over here, which is called the strategy tester. So we'll just go ahead and do that. As you can see, a new window has popped up at the bottom here, which is called the tester window. Now we want to close the terminal window because we don't have any active trades that we need to monitor, and we don't really need the terminal window at this stage. We can do that either by unclicking the terminal button over here, or alternatively we can just click the X button over here on the top left. So we'll go ahead and do that. And now the first thing that we'll do, we'll just pull this navigator tab to the right so that we can see a bit more of these two windows. Now at the bottom we have the tester window, and I already have a expert advisor and symbol selected. Yours are probably blank at this stage, but we'll fix that shortly. So there are quite a few controls here, and let's go through them one by one to understand what they do. The first control allows you to select an expert advisor, and basically that means you have to specify which Forex robot you want to test. And as you can see, these expert advisors here represent the same ones which you can see in your expert advisors folder in the navigator. And basically that means that you can select any one of the expert advisors that's installed in your platform currently. And at this stage, it's just the two pre-packaged expert advisors that come with MetaTrader 4. So we'll go ahead and select the moving average, and we'll move on to the next control. The next control is the symbol. Here you can choose from a variety of different financial instruments on which you would like to test your expert advisor. And these are the same financial instruments as you have here in the market watch. Next is the period, and the period's on the right here. Currently it's selected, the hourly period is selected. You can select any other period on which you want to test your expert advisor. And the reason for this control is because MetaTrader 4 has historically been developed in a very specific way. And that way is that if you launch an expert advisor on a chart, you're not only launching it on that financial instrument, but you're also launching it on that specific time frame of the chart. So let's look at an example. If I open a euro dollar here and I choose the 4-hourly chart, then launching an expert advisor on the hourly chart will be different to launching an expert advisor on the 4-hourly chart. And that is applicable to all expert advisors, except for the cases when they're specifically coded in a way that disregards the period on which they're launched, which is quite rare. Usually expert advisors use the bars of the period they're launched on, or the chart they're launched on, and therefore the period has a significant influence. That feature of MetaTrader 4 is different, for example, to the Dukas Copy JForex platform, where if you launch an expert advisor or Forex robot, you launch it on a financial instrument, and then within the expert advisor itself, the code has to decide which periods it will work with. In MetaTrader 4, it's not like that. In MetaTrader 4, the period which you're launching the expert advisor on has significant influence on the outcomes and performance of the Forex robot. So that's why you should always remember to choose the correct period for your expert advisor. Now let's move on to the next control, which is the model. We'll talk about these three different types of models separately in another tutorial in this course, but for now it's sufficient for us to understand that open prices is the least precise model for testing, but it is the fastest one for testing. Control points is the average, and every tick is the most precise model, but it takes the longest to run a test on this model. Next, we're going to move on to the date controls. So here you can specify a date where within which you want to test the expert advisor. So for example, if you want to test it from the start of this year, then you just put in 1st of January, and then you can test it up to today, or you can test it up to any other date in the past. Visual mode will specify whether you want to see how the test is progressing on the chart over here, or if you just want to get the results. If you untick this, you'll just get the result for the test without actually seeing when the trades were open. So obviously without the visual mode it's faster. With visual mode you get to see when the trades are occurring. Skip to allows you to skip to a certain date during a visual mode test. So if you set the date like say 2nd of June, and you're starting from the start of the year, you can watch it at the start of the year and then click skip to, and it'll skip to a certain date. Next, the spread parameter here is quite new. I think it was introduced in one of the recent builds, and if you're using MetaTrader 4 above build 600, then you definitely should have it. And this allows you to specify with which spread you want to test your expert advisor. It's a very convenient function. As you can see here, the spread right now is 2 pips. I might want to test my expert advisor with 5 pips, and there you can choose it. You can also enter any other value you want in here. You don't have to select one of the drop down. The optimization button, we'll talk about that later, but basically it allows you to optimize your expert advisors. Also, there's a few controls on the right here. Modify expert, that will go into MQL4 to change the code for the expert advisor. Open chart, I never use that button myself, but basically I guess it just opens the chart. Symbol properties, also we'll talk about that separately. And expert properties brings up the parameters of the expert advisors. So we'll talk about this more in the coming tutorials. I look forward to seeing you there. If you're watching on YouTube, do subscribe to the channel to be notified when I post the next free tutorial. And until then, happy trading.